Three leaders, Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin, and Narendra Modi, smiling hand in hand in Tianjin. For many watching, it looked like a powerful rebuke to the United States. But here is the big question. Has Donald Trump, in his second presidency, accidentally pushed India into China's arms? And if so, is this the biggest diplomatic failure of Trump 2.0? Hello and welcome, you're watching the Karan Chronicles, and this is my take on the SCO Summit, where Modi, Putin and Xi Jinping walked hand in hand and Trump watched America's Asia strategy slip away. The SCO just wrapped up in Tianjin. Normally, these summits fly under the radar in the Western media. But this time, all eyes were glued to it. You ask why? Because the optics, they were impossible for anyone to ignore. Xi Jinping, Vladimir Putin and Narendra Modi shared the stage. The world's three most influential non-Western powers together representing nearly 3 billion people and over 20% of the global GDP, calling for a multipolar world order. Translation, an end to America's dominance. Now, for decades, India was seen by Washington as an ultimate counterweight to China. But now, Trump's policies have created a situation where India is shaking hands with Beijing instead of standing firmly against it. Now, let's simplify what the SCO is. Think of it as Asia's version of a regional bloc, something like EU or NATO, but less structured. NATO is a defense pact led by America. One country gets attacked, all fight back. The EU is an economic powerhouse, shared currency, shared market, and shared rules and regulations. But the SCO, it's a little messier, a mix of all, a mix of security talks, economic projects, energy deals, and even a university network. It doesn't have a common army or a common currency yet, but here is its biggest strength. It's united by one big theme: resisting US dominance. And with Russia's CSTO alliance collapsing after Ukraine-Russia war, Moscow has shifted full force behind SCO, which means SCO today looks less like a talking club and more like a front of countries saying, quote-unquote, enough of American overreach. And when India comes into this picture, things get even more interesting. For years and years now, Washington tried to pull India tightly into its orbit. Weapons, deals, trade pacts, Quad alliance with Japan and Australia, you name it. India was supposed to be the chess piece that America could use to contain China, use against China. But Trump has blown it. He slapped 50% tariffs on Indian goods. He pressured India to stop buying Russian oil, even as Europe quietly kept Russian gas flowing behind the scenes. He repeatedly, bizarrely claimed credit for quote-unquote solving India-Pakistan conflict, something that has angered New Delhi, something that has angered India. Now, the result is clear. Trump's arrogance has pushed India into China's warm embrace. At Tianjin, Modi walked hand in hand with Putin to meet Xi. Cameras flashed and the message was loud and clear: India will not be bullied into Washington's corner. This is devastating. Really, this is devastating for America's Asia strategy. The US spends decades and decades and decades building India up as the counterbalance to China, only to watch India on a stage with China itself. For Washington, this wasn't just about optics. It was a mere humiliation. But let's be honest here. India and China are unlikely to become best friends overnight. Their history of border clashes, their competition in Asian markets, it's too raw. It's too real. But here is what matters. Trump created an opening. By alienating allies and partners, he made space for China to play the role of quote-unquote reliable partner. And with Russia still clinging to relevance after US interventions on Ukraine war, the SCO now looked like a show of defiance. This is exactly what America fears. The idea of an Asia-driven multipolar world where US influence is shrinking fast. And make no mistake, Trump and his administration has noticed it. That's why his administration is now scrambling, are in damage control mode, suddenly talking about quote-unquote mending ties with India, saying exceptional ties with India. Reports suggest private calls, quiet offers, and even whispers about rolling back some of the tariffs. The White House knows that if India tilts away for real, America could lose the Indo-Pacific advantage. India's message is clear here. Strategic autonomy comes first and Western dictations second. We haven't abandoned the US, but we are showing Trump or whomsoever comes after him that India won't be threatened or treated like a junior partner. So here we are, a handshake in Tianjin that has shaken Washington. Trump wanted to make America great again, America respected again on the world stage. Instead, in his second term, he may go down as the president who alienated allies, weakened old partnerships, and pushed India, its very counterbalance to China, to closer to China, or to closer to America's rival. And in great irony, what took decades of US diplomacy to build, Trump may have ruined it in just a few months.